Top Notch family, what is going on? And man, oh man, I know you guys are gonna love this video. It's gonna get very spicy, it's gonna get very juicy. So make sure you have your popcorn, make sure you have your juice, because it's gonna be long and very entertaining. So in today's video, it was requested by a supporter, so shout out to him. And if you guys want me to make videos, just comment down what teams you guys want me to talk about. Anyways, this video is gonna be about a team that went from a winning organization to now one of the laughing stocks of the NBA. And to be honest with you guys, we're going to be starting from about 2019, 2020 till now. And I have all this stuff to show you why I believe now they're the laughing stock. And what I do want to say is the supporter that did request this is a lifelong Lakers fan. So don't get upset with me. I'm just showing you guys what he thinks and what I think, okay? So I know the Lakers fans are going to be coming in the comment sections, dropping a diss, like throwing hate comments. It is what it is. You're biased, your team sucks. Anyways, going on from the year that the Lakers won a championship. So we're going to start off, with some good news, right? The Lakers won a championship in 2020, led by LeBron James, the greatest player of all time. I'll give you props. Anthony Davis, who was very, very good and wasn't hurt last year, surprisingly, which is good. And during that time, Frank Vogel was a good coach and not getting fired and stuff like that. So that's the team's 17th championship in 2020, tying the Celtics, right? And now, obviously, there's a big rivalry with the Celtics and Lakers because organizations going back and forth of who had the more championships. And, it's still going, but we all know the Lakers are losing right now. So what I will say, this 2019-2020 team was excellent. Like, excellent. And I wish they kept their roster together, and I feel like some Lakers fans can agree because this team was deep. And I'm going to show you guys on the screen why I believe that, right? So when you look at this team, let me just go back up real quick. They finished 52-19. Finished first in the NBA Western Conference, which is very, very hard. So they didn't even have 20 losses that year, right? Obviously, the coach was Frank Vogel. But going into the playoffs, right? Against the first round, they played the Portland Trail Blazers, only lost one game. Then the second round, they played the Houston Rockets, only lost one game. And I believe that was the first game of the series, which is no biggie, right? Then they went into the Western Conference Finals. They played the Denver Nuggets. And now they can't even beat the Denver Nuggets. But this year, they beat them 4-1. Maybe if they kept this DNA, they probably could have beat the Denver Nuggets. Just saying. Then they go against my Miami Heat. They beat them 4-2. So, very good team. Like I said, the record doesn't lie. And then when you look at their roster, it just was constructed very well. So they had their sharpshooters and players like J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters. They had their playmakers like Rajon Rondo setting up players like Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee. What you also notice is that Anthony Davis was playing his original position that he always wants to play, the power forward. You know why? Because they had center players like JaVale McGee and like Dwight Howard, who they considered the Twin Towers. And obviously, you still had the greatest player of all time, LeBron James. You had Kyle Kuzma. And then you had very good defenders like Alex Caruso and KCP. Now, mind you, Alex Caruso was nowhere near good when he was playing with the Lakers, how he is, but he was still very solid and still helped them win a championship. And then you had your veteran players like Jared Dudley, Danny Green was still a good player, Talen Horton-Tucker and stuff like that, Markieff Morris. So this was a very, very well-rounded team, right? So now, after you win a championship, people consider it, it was a bubble, this and that. It was an easy championship. At the end of the day, they brought the banner. They won a championship. I'm not complaining about that at all. Congratulations to them. Mind you, they beat my team. If my team would have won, I don't care what you guys would have said either, right? So now, after that season, you're going into the 2020-2021. And they were, I'm not going to say they were the favorites, but their odds were very, very good, right? So they had, what's their odds right here? So yeah, they had about 275 to win the championship. Mind you, the year before that, the year they won it was like 4-something. So they go into the season, they did make some free agency moves, but they did keep, majority of their players and stuff like that. That year, they finished 42-30. Finished 7th in the NBA Western Conference. And like I said, that stuff happens. When you're winning a championship, then go back next year to win back-to-back, it's very, very tough. But like I said, they still kind of had their players. They had KCP. They had Alex Caruso. Quinn Cook was pretty solid, right? They had Anthony Davis. They did bring in players like Andre Drummond and players like Marcus Gasol. They still had Harrow and LeBron James. So they still kind of had their roster. It just wasn't as good as the year that they won the championship. And that's why people don't really respect it because, after the bubble, you don't win a championship, but that's pretty lame. And I'm actually with you guys, Lakers fans, and I'm usually not. So it is what it is. And then they lost NBA Western Conference in the first round, 2-4 to the Phoenix Suns. So that's kind of the DNA so far with the Lakers. So they won a championship, and then the year The next year they go 42-30, and then obviously we go on to the next season. So now 2020, like I said, 2020. So now we're going to go into 2021, 2022. And this is where it gets very, very interesting because the Lakers are like, okay, we won a championship, but then we lost. We lost in the first round. What can we do, right? And this is where the laughing stock becomes because you guys made a lot of bad mistakes. It's really just simple as that. So we're going to be looking at this article right here. So it says 2021 NBA offseason and review, Los Angeles Lakers. So now these are the players that they did, right? Taylor Horton Tucker, they locked him up, surprisingly. 3 years, $30 million. Kendrick Nunn, who we all thought was going to be solid because he was good with the Miami Heat, 2 years, $10 million, has been one of the biggest disappointing assignments for the Lakers for a long time, right? You signed Carmelo to a 1-year minimum deal, which was a disappointment. Trevor Ariza was pretty trash. Kent Bazemore was pretty trash. Wayne Ellington was pretty trash. Dwight Howard was pretty solid. DeAndre Jordan was washed up. So all the players that you're signing were either trash or just washed up. Malik Monk was a very good signing. I'm not going to lie. Rajon Rondo was still there, but he was aging. And then probably the best thing that you guys got was Austin Reeves on a 2-way contract because now he's part of the future of this team. So this is what you guys did. This is just free agency signings, right? And this is where everything changed. They acquired Russell Westbrook. They traded away the players that they won the championship with, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and Montrezl Harrell, right? I believe Harrell, right? And then they gave away their wing players, their scores, and stuff like that. Now they acquired a player like Russell Westbrook, which they know, everybody knows in the league that Russell Westbrook needs the ball in his hand, and he needs shooters and spacers. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are just not those guys. But not only that, Russell Westbrook and Frank Vogel were going back and forth. The fan base was coming for Russell Westbrook, giving him death threats and all that stuff because of some of his bad play, which I do not condone at all. But that's just kind of how it is. If you play bad in the Lakers, you're going to get that type of hate. So not only did LeBron James make this trade happen, because I believe that the play was bad, the coaching, it wasn't really good. Russell Westbrook didn't want to go to the bench. And at that time, it felt like Russ needed to go to the bench. And then sometimes he did sacrifice, but it just was very, very, very messy right there. So then you traded all your first round picks, which I want you guys to remember. Trading all your first round picks is probably not the greatest decision. So anyways, they didn't do much that year, right? So now you go into the year with Russell Westbrook and stuff like that, and you go 33-49. So now you're just downgrading, right? So the free agency signings are getting worse. You traded for a player that you know wasn't going to fit, but you just wanted that star player. And then you go from 42-30 to 7th in the Western Conference to 33-49 to finish 11th in the Western Conference, which is pretty pathetic. And this is the roster that we're rolling with, so you can't even blame them. Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza. So you had a lot of players, like I showed y'all, on minimum deals that just was getting older, just was washed, wasn't the same as they was when they were younger. I mean, just look at his roster. Did you really expect this team to compete? And that's because of Russell Westbrook's contract, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. So they were forced to sign these players on minimum deals. So obviously, that just didn't really work out. So then obviously now you make a decision. Frank Vogel got to go. And now you make a very crucial decision, a very dumb decision, and you hire Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham at the time, people was like, okay, that was fine. A lot of people didn't even want Darvin Ham. Mind you, they didn't even want Darvin Ham. But Darvin Ham was hired in June 3rd, 2022. And man, Darvin Ham was probably one of the worst coaches that I ever seen in my life. When I tell you he's probably one of the worst coaches in my life, I'm just like, bro, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't know what he's doing, right? So I kind of did skip a part. Russell Westbrook was traded and stuff like that, but you guys get it. So Russell Westbrook for 2 years, it just wasn't a good fit. So that was one of the worst mistakes they had. Then you go into Darvin Ham, and man, that coach was horrible. He never knew how to run his rotations. Never. But I will say, going into that 2022-2023 year, which I will show on the screen right here, he did make a little run. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He did make a run, and that's mainly because of the Lakers. Well, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So they finished 43-39, finished 7th in the Western Conference once again. All right, Darvin Ham was the head coach, and when you look at this roster was not good if you really want to think about it. Like, it really wasn't. Like look at this team. Like, and this is the year they traded Russ, I believe, for D'Lo. As you see, D'Angelo Russell said, yeah, that was a D'Lo trade and stuff like that. And this is the roster they had. But guess what, guys? Because of LeBron James' greatness, They went into the Western Conference Finals and got swept by the Denver Nuggets. That team should have not ever been in the Western Conference at all. So now you go from a championship, from getting worse, having drama with LeBron, Frank Vogel, Russell Westbrook. Then you fire Frank Vogel, and now you get a worse coach in Darvin Ham who didn't know how to run proper rotations. And now you're kind of going to the Lakers 2023 NBA free agency grades for every signing, which I'm going to show on the screen right here. And like I said, it kind of just gets worse. Like, it really does. So, obviously, right here, as you see right here, Austin Reeves, you locked him up, which is pretty good. Rui Hachimura was pretty good, even though he sucked this season. He didn't play very, very well. D'Lo, you locked him up for 2 years and stuff like that. Gabe Vincent was a huge, huge disappointment. Cam Reddish was pretty bad. And all these stupid ads. Taurean Prince was freaking... I don't know what about Taurean Prince, but this dude, Darvin Ham, loved Taurean Prince. It's actually pretty funny. He sucked. Jackson Haynes sucked. I mean... And mind you, they gave it a B+, and all these players are awful, which I understand. It is what it is. So that's the team that the Lakers are kind of rolling with. So now you're going into this season with Bronny James. Literally, Bronny James. So everybody keeps talking about Bronny James this, Bronny James that, right? And, man, that's already a distraction. So now, obviously, Darvin Ham was fired and all that stuff. Like, he didn't deserve, like, he got fired because, I mean, the dude sucked, right? So you had to move on. You hired J.J. Redick. You draft Bronny James. So you hired a coach that never coached in his damn life. You hired a podcaster. Mind you, you hired a podcaster that was with LeBron James. Just think about that. You draft Bronny. You have all this crazy stuff going on with the Lakers. Mind you, you're the only team in the NBA that hasn't signed a free agent, outside free agent. So it's crazy to see from a team winning championships to a team that just been making terrible decisions, signing players to minimum deals because that's all they can afford, make a bad trade for Russell Westbrook, hire Darvin Ham, who was one of the worst coach ever. Then you hire J.J. Redick, who has no coaching experience. I mean, dude, it's pretty awful. It's bad. So that's kind of the last 4 to 5 seasons. I'm sorry about these damn matches. Like, these ads are just always over the place. But let me know what you guys think, man. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm kind of going through the timeline of the free agent signings, coaching signings, that traded with Russell Westbrook, bringing in D'Lo, rotations not being proper, and adding a player like Bronny James, which is already bringing, some not the greatest because he got a guaranteed contract as being a second-round pick. Just think about that. But hey, it is what it is. LeBron James runs the league. But once again, let me know what you guys think and follow for more NBA content. Peace.